An egg dropped from the plate accidentally and made a metallic crashing sound the next second. The man, out of curiosity, lifted the shovel to check and found that the yolk of the egg was yellow metal. Could this be gold? Excited, he immediately returned to the laboratory, picked up the testing agent for analysis. The result was the same as he guessed. The yolk was really high purity gold. He excitedly rushed home, eager to share with his wife. But when his wife heard it, instead of being happy, she was very frustrated. Jack felt something was wrong and asked. Only then did his wife say that to reduce expenses. She had sold the duck to a farmer early in the morning. Jack's blood pressure soared. After shaking his wife, she remembered the farmer's address. The family hurriedly got into the car and rushed to the farmer's house. Fortunately, Jack was fast and the duck wasn't put into the oven. Jack bought the duck back for 50 yuan, and the old man asked them to catch it themselves. The wife pretended to be calm, but Jack was stunned when he reached the backyard. There were hundreds of identical ducks in the fence, and the quacking made Jack's head hurt. To find the duck that laid the golden egg, the family lay on the ground to distinguish them one by one. The running ducks made the situation worse. When they were desperate, Jack came up with an idea and pulled his friend to imitate a dog's bark because he had previously found that this duck would lay an egg when it heard a dog bark. But even if they shouted themselves hoarse, they still couldn't find it. The son was very sad for not finding his beloved pet. When he left disappointedly, he forgot to close the door, and the ducks rushed towards the stream. Jack wanted to drive the ducks back, but ended up making a bad situation worse. He even fell into the river himself. The loud sound attracted the farmer, who angrily asked them to leave. At this time, a duck followed behind the boy. Hearing the sound, the boy squatted down and excitedly held the duck, and others came as well. To figure out if it was the duck that laid the golden egg, he asked his friend to hold it down and he imitated a dog's bark. The duck laid an egg. Jack picked up the egg and cracked it open. This duck could lay golden eggs because it was originally an experimental duck that was accidentally exposed to radiation. The laboratory decided to destroy it. Jack couldn't bear it and brought it home as his. Son wanted to keep a pet because it was exposed to radiation. Jack was going to destroy the eggs but found that the yolks turned into gold. After getting the duck back, Jack and his friend calculated the value of the golden eggs. It exceeded his annual salary. If the duck laid an egg every hour, they would be the richest in 2 weeks. But the top priority was to keep the secret and cash in the eggs. At this time, the duck received attention. Jack closed the window and covered the duck with a quilt. It was okay for the son to hold on. The next day, an accident happened. Early in the morning, the wife received a call from the bank demanding payment. If they didn't pay, they would have to move to the street. Seeing the duck, the wife had an idea. She took the golden egg to the bank. The clerk only accepted cash. The bank manager told her to go to the refinery nearby. She tried and really exchanged it for a check. Not only did she pay off the debt, but also bought clothes. Jack noticed something was wrong. Only then did the wife tell him about exchanging the money. Jack was so angry that he almost had a stroke. He was afraid that the government would find out and they couldn't keep the duck. When Jack was furious, his friend showed up. As a lawyer, he said it could solve the problem of cashing in and wouldn't be suspected because the wife had told them that the gold came from the duck's eggs and it wouldn't violate the law. With the endorsement of his friend, the wife went to various refineries to exchange the checks and Jack changed his car. However, an accident happened at this time. The man discovered that the pet duck could lay golden eggs. In just 2 days, they harvested golden eggs worth hundreds of thousands. When they were worried about cashing in, the wife received a call from the bank demanding payment. She went to the bank to repay, but the bank suggested she go to the refinery nearby. It really worked and she exchanged it for a check. Jack asked his wife to go to all the refineries nearby too. Exchange the checks. They didn't know that the government noticed the excessive gold in the market. They called the factory managers to discuss countermeasures for fear of the bankruptcy of the banks. The name of Jack's wife was overheard by the neighbor, who was an investigator. The neighbor monitored them. Jack and his friend were happy to see the duck laying an egg, but didn't he know that the neighbor saw it? The neighbor used a bicycle to exchange with the boy for the egg. He imitated a dog's bark and the duck laid an egg. The wife discovered and the neighbor reported it. Government staff rushed into Jack's house and wanted to take the duck away. The boy heard it and jumped out of the window with the duck, snatched the neighbor's bicycle and fled. The staff only saw the bicycle. At this time, the boy had taken the duck on a moving truck and later hid in a garbage bin. Unexpectedly, the duck couldn't stand the smell and jumped down. The boy rushed towards the duck. At this time, the duck had reached the street and blocked the entire road. At the critical moment, the boy's friends showed up and took them away. Seeing that the pursuers were closely behind, they turned and rushed into the multi-story parking lot. When they reached the roof, they found there was no way out, so they decided to climb to the opposite building using a ladder. But just when the boy was in the middle, an accident happened. At the critical moment, Jack finally arrived and saved his son. However, the pet duck was taken away in court. Jack asked the duck to lay an egg. The judge found it was an ordinary egg. The radiation on the duck had disappeared. Jack and others were acquitted and the duck could continue to grow up with the boy.